Welcome back, my friends, and to those that are visiting for the first time, welcome to you as well. I am Melanie with Melanie Stamps, and today we are jumping in and watercoloring a letterpress die. This is the impression die letterpress from LDRS called Clematis. It's a letterpress die that you would use in your BetterPress and the coordinating die. And then we are also using the Love and Friendship Sentiments. Now, I had a little technical difficulties and already started this video once and got into starting to color, and the video crashed. So we are jumping back in and we're going to start again. So here we are. I've only done just a tad, and we're using Tim Holtz Watercolor Pencils for some easy coloring. Now, I do have a bonus card for you at the end of the video, and it is actually probably going to be my husband's Valentine's Day card. So you might want to stick around to see it. It's pretty cute, and I'd love to get your input on it to see if you think he might like it. So let's jump into this. I'm going to just get my spray bottle here. This is the new Mighty Mister from Spellbinders, and put one good spray there of water. And note to self, when the little crash happened a minute ago, I accidentally left my pencil in the water. This is not what you do with a colored pencil. It completely got well, the outside of it looks distressed now. Let's just put it that way. So it got all inky in the water from the pigment from here, soaked into the outer part. So I've dried it all off, and it's okay. But I just wanted to let you know it's a little worn now. But hey, a worn item is a used item, right? So we're just going to pick up where I left off before. And I'm doing the brush to pencil technique here, as I call it. And I'm just going to get a little pigment like that. And I came in here and I just put that dark pigment here towards the center. And you see how vivid the pigment is when you do that. Now, this I believe is Seedless Preserves. Yes, Seedless Preserves that we're using here. And then we will come in with more actual watered down water, and we will drag this out. Now I'm having to reactivate this here because we've used this had dried. So let me see if I can get this going here again. Okay, there we go. So we'll bring that out here and get it dry or lighter out here towards the tip. Now I'm using Little Darlings watercolor paper here on this project. We'll see how this does. And I'm just working on getting the dark in the center and bringing this out to a lighter tip. Now I've also got some pinks over here. And I had thought about putting some pinks on the tips. Let's see what this would look like if I had just a little pink out here. Some lighter pinks. This is the raspberry, I believe. Or is it Fletch Flamingo? Let's see. No, yeah, picked raspberry. So you see I could actually mix those two. Have it going from the Seedless Preserves to the picked raspberry, and could play with that like there too and mix those two. So you could just kind of play with it depending on how much of a dark and light you're wanting to go. See that? Now I am absolutely not a pro with watercolor. So I'm just having a play with it. Go ahead and pick some more of this picked raspberry up. come out here. I really like this color out here. And then I feel like I need some more dark there, so I'll come in here, get a little bit more. There we go. There we go. A little bit more of that darker in there. How about that? Let that dry a little bit there. Get this wet again. Go ahead and pick up some more pink. So I'm just experimenting. Just kind of pouncing that there to get a darker pigment. Ooh, it's bright. Got a little bit too much of that pink that time. But that's the beauty of watercolor. Is you can water it down and lighten it up. There we go. There we go. Okay. So that's where we're at. And of course it's going to dry back. We'll see how that does. I'm going to continue coloring a little bit and then I'll come back when I'm getting to the leaves. Okay, now I'm back here. I have finished my flowers and I've done most of the leaves. Now the flowers are a little overworked, I feel, but I think they're growing on me. I did lighten up the tips by adding a little of a wet brush and picked up the color with a paper towel. And I am liking the forgiveness of this LDRS watercolor paper for watercolor. It is very forgiving, like where I've went out of the lines in a couple places. I was able to paint on regular, just clear, clean water and pick up my mistakes, whereas some watercolor paper will not let you do that. So in that case, I am enjoying this watercolor paper. I don't like it as much as I like BetterPress paper when I'm BetterPressing. So if I'm watercoloring BetterPress, I like to use the watercolor paper. If I'm just BetterPressing, I like to use the BetterPress paper. So it just depends on what I'm working on. So there's a reason and a rhyme for everything, and this is a good paper to watercolor on. I really like how forgiving it is. So let's color the rest of our leaves. Now for the leaves, I'm using two colors. I'm going on lightly with peeled paint, and then I'm coming in with just a little of Rustic Wilderness. And I'm trying to make this first color really light because I learned with the flowers that you can overwork this. So I think one of my problems was by putting the brush straight to the tip. Whoop, that's too much water. By taking the paintbrush straight to the tip of the pencil, it does give you so much pigment that if you put too much of that on, you're going to end up with just so thick of a color that it really dilutes the lines of your BetterPress. So that's what I was learning. And I could go over all of my lines again, like with a fine tip pen, but that would be very difficult on this image. So that's why I lightened up my tips. So I'm just doing this with a light wash on those leaves. And then I'm going to take this Rustic Wilderness and I'm just going to add a little variation there in the center. And I really like the way, and I'm just kind of almost scribbling it because I just want a combination there of the colors. Let me dilute this down a little bit. There we go. A little harsh line right there. So there we go. So that's what I was going after. See how it's kind of got the yellow on the tip and then just a little variation in the center? And you see how I've got this right here? It's gone out of the lines. Let me show you with clean water. Let me get a clean paper towel and I will show you how forgiving this paper is. Let me clean my brush really well, because you want to have really clean water. So this paper, you can just wipe on your water. And work it in there. Paint over where the paint got smeared. And take your paper towel and soak it up. Now this is something the BetterPress paper doesn't like you doing. That's why when people say watercolor paper and BetterPress paper are exactly the same, I disagree with them. Because BetterPress paper gives you much better of an impression for your letterpressing. But watercolor paper allows you to get a better watercolor effect, even though they're both 100% cotton. And not all watercolor paper is 100% cotton. You need to realize that also. Just because it says watercolor does not mean it's 100% cotton. A lot of them are, but not all of them. For instance, Altenew has 2 watercolor papers. One is 100% cotton, and the other one is only 50% cotton. So, and then a lot of them don't say one way or another. And one thing that Spellbinders has told me is that some watercolor papers have different sizings and things like that in them that make them different than BetterPress paper. I've been talking to them one-on-one about the debate about different inks and different papers and what makes Spellbinders products for the BetterPress different. Now, if you love BetterPress, my girlfriend Justine and I have a BetterPress group called the BetterPress Babes over on Facebook. And if you would like to join that and be a BetterPress babe, we would absolutely love for you to come visit us. You see that? See how great that inking came out? So now the project is done. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe all this up, and we will finish this card real quick. And I'm going to do quick and easy, just mount it on a piece of coordinating cardstock and make it clean and simple, and let the letterpress watercoloring stand loud and proud. Then I will show you my bonus card. So I would absolutely love for you to join us over at the BetterPress Babes. I will make sure to link the group in the description below. We are everything BetterPress. So if you love your BetterPress or you're interested in learning more about it, we are the place to go. And we would absolutely love it for you to come by and share the passion with us. There we go. And I just ran out of my card bases, so I have to go fold another. Oh no, there might be one right here. Haha. I will attach this one to this card base. And then let me show you my bonus card real quick. Get your input on it. I would like to know what you think. I have used, I'm going to grab these couple of products from LDRS. I have used Cupid's Arrow. This is a letterpress die. Isn't it adorable? I love this. Cupid's Arrow. And it has a coordinating die for it. And then this elegant rectangle frame. And if you are interested in doing monogram, classy letterpress monogramming, LDRS has an amazing set of alphabet letters that correspond with a few different frames. This is one of them, but frames that you can use both on your regular cards, but also teamed up with the monograms that they have available. They have the full alphabet, and it is really classy. So if you have weddings or a gift, gifts ideas for different occasions, that is a perfect place to go to check that out. So I will try to remember to put a link for that, the monogram sets, down in the description below if you're interested in that. But for these two products, I came up with this. Now for this, I actually also am using the delicate stitched scallop rectangles. I've used the very largest one here on the outside, and if you can tell, see, you got a stitched line here. And the reason that I don't love the watercolor paper for BetterPress all the time is because it wrinkles just a little bit. It has a wrinkling effect. And on this one, I didn't put my double adhesive on the back of it and then put an extra layer on the back of it like I do embossing folders. But you really need to do that if you're going to use this watercolor paper for BetterPressing. And I didn't, and I mean, you can see the ripples right here. It's not super noticeable, but in this instance, I probably should have used the other paper for this. But I'm just uber picky. So it's not a big deal, but I'm just being upfront and open. So, but what I've done here is used the Delicate Stitches Scalloped Rectangle, the largest one here, and the smallest one. If you notice, the largest one gives you a full panel, but these inner ones, let's see, this one has 2 cutting. This one, it looks like only has 1 cutting edge. This one has 2 cutting edges. So you get a full panel with this largest one and a full panel with this second or third one in. And then you get an outline of the second one in and the smallest one in, just like this. So I really thought that made that stand out. Now I have used the LDRS Hybrid ink for my bright red, and that is Scarlet Rose. That is a color that we do not have in BetterPress ink yet. So I was glad to have that in my stash to be able to use, and it did really well on the letterpressing. And then I used Altenews pigment ink in antique gold for the cherub. So, and then for this sentiment, I actually did not have a LDRS sentiment that was small enough to fit here. So that went with Valentine's Day. I have some small ones like this, but not one that really worked for a Valentine's Day card. So I just grabbed from my stash a Thanks Enclosed sentiment set. I think this is an older one. And I just used Love You. And I used it with red, gold, and white layered up. I don't know if you can see that or not. Whoops, let it focus. Layered up so that it would take a nod to the gold, but tie in that red and white together as well. So that is my bonus card. And here is my card for today. So I hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial, and I will have all the links in the description below for your shopping convenience. Those links are affiliate links. They do support me and my channel, and using those links cost you absolutely nothing. So thank you so much. If there's anything you see that you'd like to check out, I would really appreciate you using them. Thank you, and I will talk to y'all in the next video. Have a great one, my friends. Bye-bye.